Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is the reaction show for the pre-season friendly game, the first of Nuno's reign. The game, Leyton Orient versus Spurs in the JE3 trophy, which we won, by the way.
Harry Kane staying now. We won a trophy.
May as well start with a bit of a giggle, lads, because there weren't much else in there. But yeah, first of all, pre-season friendly games. Nuno's first game of charges, I've mentioned before. And I'm joined, as per usual, by some super special guests. We have in the house resident Sid Spurs, and we have joining the legendary, the one and only, the Irish Hotspur. Flat Capital still in the house. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Not bad, thank you. Not bad. Yourselves? All good?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I'm not even prepared much graphics today. I've not even got the score banner, all that sort of stuff, which I'd normally do. To be honest with you, it was just a case of getting back into this. And what I'm going to do is just going to come around and ask you what your thoughts are. So in terms of what's your overall thoughts of the game, let's start with yourself, Dave. What was your overall, I guess, final thoughts for that game itself?
Yeah, look, for me, the first half, is where you could probably pick some of the talking points from. You could probably pull out Pascozzi, especially John in midfield. Very positive. Dane Scarlett getting his goal. What a great run, which I'm sure we'll get into. Then you can Lucas Moura showed glimpses as well. Another takeaway you could probably take is the performances from Dele, Bergwijn, Winks. Okay, look, we're not expecting them to hit the ground running, but we are expecting to see glimpses. We didn't really see anything. Dyer was caught out underneath a cross in the first half, much like last season. Okay, improved a bit. Cameron Carter-Vickers, to be fair, he had a very good game, and I was very impressed with Callum Cisse. For me, I loved it, when Dyer was sticking up for him, and he still wanted to have a goal. He's well able to stick up for himself. I love that sort of mentality and attitude. And then the second half, look, it was practically Tottenham's under 23 side. You couldn't really take much from that.
No, you're right. It was the old saying, a game of two halves. When you make 10 outfield changes after 60-odd minutes, you're going to get a lot of this sort of stuff. Sid, what was your overall thoughts on the game itself?
I think I agree with what Dave's saying. First off was quite decent. We played some decent football. To be honest, I was impressed with Pascozzi and especially John. I think John had a really good game. Going forward in midfield as well. Totally agree. The three main players that we should have, we had Bergwijn, Dele and Dyer. To be honest, it was just a stroll in the park, weren't it? It wasn't nothing entertaining. Out of all the players there, you'd think the four that we had from last season playing would have at least egged them on a little bit, given a little bit more positivity and whatever. But out of a lot of them, Lucas was the only one who actually shone. Honestly, Bergwijn is a massive, massive question mark for me because it's only Leyton Orient, but I didn't even know he was playing for the first 20 minutes, to be honest. There was nothing there. No runs, not even running with the ball, not even asking for the ball. Second half, might as well forget that, to be honest. I went for a two-hour walk this morning, and that second half gave me my sleep that I wanted because, to be honest, I was just in and out. Wasn't that entertaining. Like Dave said, I wasn't expecting fireworks or anything, but a little bit of a shift, some work. But nah, it's the usual first game. Let's just get back into it. Nothing major. Let's see what happens in the second game.
Listen, it's pre-season friendly. We always say the pre-season friendly results matter. No, they don't really matter. Do performances matter in the very first game? Well, you want to see at least something. Maybe some level of fitness, maybe some level of, at least players not coming back overweight. Bergwijn did look a little bit less podgy than what I'd seen him at the back end of last season. So maybe he has at least done some fitness work. But in terms of, and I'll put the actual starting 11 up so we could just go through this again at the moment. Carter-Vickers, as you guys mentioned, I think he was decent. Dyer was okay. There was a couple of things in there which still kind of a hangover from last season for me. Hart didn't have anything to do. Like I said, I was quite impressed with that Pascozzi and both Cisse as well. I didn't think they did anything to say they shouldn't be able to have at least another pre-season friendly. But let's be honest with you, we don't want to be seeing any of that back five starting for Spurs anytime soon. I really don't want to see any of them back five starting, if I'm honest with you. John, of the midfield three, I think he played all right. I think he was probably the best of the three. Dele and Winks was just did what Winks did, ran around, had a little bit of a Well, I'm here. Pass the ball to me. I'll pass backwards. I'll pass backwards. Didn't do anything.
Sideways.
Yeah, sideways. He passed the ball to Lucas, who then played through ball. Bergwijn, as you guys have mentioned, not much in him today. I think he's got a massive few games ahead of him. If he's going to make anything of his Tottenham career, he needs to really improve a lot. And Scarlett, there's the potential there. We can all see finishing off his weaker foot. You know, this guy, 17 years of age, he looks like he's been doing something in the summertime, which is what I want players to be doing. If you want to get into the team, you can see the guy's bulked up. He's been putting on some weight. He's been doing whatever he needs to do. And this is what you expect from a youngster who's saying, right, there's an opportunity here for me. So, you know, who else do you think stood out of the players? Dave, anybody else you stood out?
Just on Scarlett quickly, I do want to say the run he made, right, it demanded that pass from Lucas Moura. 100%. And it was an absolute brilliant run. And you see the difference between him and Troy Parrott. Troy Parrott is very much trying to get on the ball, come and receive the ball, where Scarlett's the opposite. And the reason why Scarlett is, and I would take it as ahead in the pecking order than Parrott, because he started in the first half, for me, is because the guy is very clever. With Parrott, because he likes to come and receive the ball, he doesn't have the strength to be able to hold it up, right? And he's easy to knock off the ball and pick the ball up off of. But with Scarlett, because he's willing to run in behind and he makes these clever runs, he's not relying on strength as much. You know, he's relying on his pace and football intelligence. And the run he made, and then the composure in front of goal to slot it between the keeper's legs was absolutely brilliant the way he put it in. It was a great finish. And players that stood out with Piscotty, I better get that right. I'll be clipped everywhere. I'll be memed. You know what I mean?
I'm going to have to put the name up because I can't remember.
He's actually a centre back. He's actually a centre back. It's Piscotty, yeah. He's actually a centre back, but played right back today. Now, what I did like was just that one of our fullbacks picking up the ball and just running with it, getting us out, driving out with it, stop short from responsibility, passing inside the whole time. And for me, I think he had a very good game. I think it was positive. I really do like Cisse as well. A right-footed right full, playing left full, slotted in nicely. I thought he had a good game. You know, he was positive. Cameron Carter-Vickers, look, even though I do think he's going to be sold, he looked better than Eric Dyer to me today.
He did, definitely.
John, the reason why I really like John's performance today, and it's what you don't see Winks do. When John's on the ball, right, he's on the half turn when he's receiving it. And it's something you're taught when you're 5. When you're on the half turn, you can get the ball out your feet. You're ready to receive it, and it opens up the pitch. It opens up a picture for you. You know, so you know whether you can drive, you can spot runs, and it's positive. It's going forward. John done that a number of occasions today. Even the one where he opened up his body, you know, took a stride forward and cracked one. When was the last time we've seen a Spurs midfielder do that? You know, and that's what you want with this guy. But he also has the strength. Being able to take the ball on the half turn, you have to be able to have a bit of strength about you, because you either the defender's going to get tight to you, right, which means you have to be able to hold him off, or he's going to come in and try and nick the ball, which means you have to be confident on the ball, which the guy is. But as well, you know, compared to Harry Winks is always receiving the ball with his back to play. He's not strong enough, you know, to take the contact, which means he either gets his pocket picked or he's resorted to passing backwards and sideways, like we've seen from Harry Winks. And like taking the ball on the half turn is something you're taught when you're 5. And I don't know where Harry Winks has lost that along the way, but John shouldn't be coming in and looking better than what Harry Winks is. You know, how much experience has Harry Winks got compared to John? And it's just a simple thing of being able to take the ball on the half turn, which opens up the pitch for you. You know, and then when you do open up on the half turn and you're running at a player, or that you're after getting by your midfielder, he's 2 options. He either has to take you out or let you run at the defence. That's why taking the ball on the half turn in midfield is very important.
About Harry Winks, then I'll ask you a quick question. Do you think he's because we had this kind of like show the other day where we talked about Ndombele and Partey, and we've got into this habit of talking about players you're either a defensive midfielder or you're an attacking midfielder. If you're a midfielder, for me, you're a midfielder. The problem with Harry Winks is he's been playing so deep that he's playing as a defensive midfielder, receiving the ball off the centre backs. And the problem that he's got is he's always, as you were mentioning, he receives the ball that he's only got one way to play it. He doesn't receive it to play forward. Receiving to play forward is one of the first things, as you've been saying, Dave, to do within the setup for any youngsters. That's what you need to do. Play forward. That John did that. He did that on a number of occasions today, and I was really impressed with that. I just don't know if Harry Winks is. Where does he play? Where does he? Is he
for another team?
What is he? I'm not sure, and this is the problem I think he's got. What is he? What is he?
Just quickly, just to add to that, and then I'll shut up. With midfielders, right? Whether you're playing defensive midfielder, whether you're box to box or playing attacking midfielder, you still have to be able to do all the basics very well. Tackling, receiving the ball on the half turn, being comfortable on the ball, being able to get your head up and play forward, or even look, don't get me wrong, sometimes you do need to play sideways and backwards, but that's when you're winning the game and you want to see out the game and it's man management, but like that for me, that's just one difference I've noticed is receiving the ball on the half turn. But as a midfielder, you have to be able to do everything very well. You have to be able to compete in the air. You have to be strong, take the ball, be comfortable with it, and get it stuck in and tackle, and be able to take contact. You have to do everything very well, no matter what part of the pitch you're playing through the middle. It doesn't matter. You have to do everything very well.
Yeah, I agree. And for that reason, I'm not sure whether or not Harry Winks is the player that we need. Now, there's a number of players missing today. Obviously, as we know, we've got Skip, we've got, all the players that have played in the Euros, Tanguy, the Højbjerg to come back. That's why I don't think Winks has really got a chance. Now, what Niall John could do is maybe push himself forward to maybe get a few games within the cup games, He's not going to be a star based on the players that we've got, but there is an opportunity potentially for him to push someone like Winks aside maybe. But we don't want to be stuck with a player like Winks in the setup as a senior player to cause problems. Sid, who stood out for you, if any players today?
I think I've got to agree with what Dave's saying. John was probably definitely the only one for me. Pascotti was quite decent, but John was the main one. Going back on Winks, I totally agree with you. He's now becoming more of a defensive, like a sweeper kind of player who hasn't got a clue what to do with the ball because he's not suited to that position. And he just gives it to Dyer, then runs in a circle and gets it back and then goes the other way, runs in a circle. He doesn't go forward at all. And we don't need them kind of players, to be honest. So the sooner he leaves, the better. And this could be wicked for John. John could just come in here and he could be an ideal replacement because like Dave was saying, if you had them two playing today, you would not have recognised that one's consistently playing for Spurs and one's just coming into Spurs. Today, it was just completely different. You think that Winks is just coming. The other one, I don't know about you guys, but when are we going to make a decision on Parrott now? Because every season now, you're sending him out on loan, you're sending him here, there, everywhere. Then he comes back pre-season, he plays 1 or 2 games, doesn't deliver, then he gets sent back again. Ain't it a time now where we need to make that decision and say, you know what, mate, off you go? Because
he's done. In my opinion, he's a player that that's it. His ship has sailed. He's not made it at Spurs. He now needs to be moved on. There's no point in loaning him out again because he doesn't seem to be the player now that excels on a loan. I've not seen him come back from, you know what, that Troy Parrott was magnificent. He's not done that. No. So he needs to move on for his own sake, for his own career. But the problem is with the player like that, sometimes they don't actually make it. And that's realism of football. He might have had a really good young 14, 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, but then the transition to man's football, as we now call it, maybe he's not there for him. So maybe he has to look further down. Maybe he's not a Premiership player. Maybe he has to go into Championship, maybe even lower than that. And that's where you have to start your career again. I've seen a lot of players like that who've had the potential, but then they just drift away. Whatever happens, they can't get it together. And maybe, well, definitely, I don't think he's got a Spurs career personally.
But isn't that down to then the hierarchy at Spurs to make a decision on him and even on Carter Vickers? Because Carter Vickers is, last couple of seasons, he's been out on loan as well. So at some point now, they're going to have to sit down and say, we need to just get rid of these two now because we can't just keep bringing them back and then, sort of deceiving them by saying, we'll bring you back for pre-season, but deep down, you're going. Yeah. We're going to send you back out on loan.
And this is a good comment here from Bolsper. Too many off-field distractions for Troy, and that's down to him to ignore. Professionalism questionable. And this is what happens. Footballers, a lot of people think, you're a professional footballer, that's it. They're just like all of us in a work environment. Sometimes you don't excel within your work environment, so you have to go somewhere else. And sometimes you think, this is not even for me, so I have to change what I do. it might be one of them for him. Just the last thing then, what do you want to see in the next game? Who do you want to see in the next game? Irish Hotspur, who do you want to see in the next game? And is there anything different that you want to see in terms of the way the team was set up?
No, look, I think the next game would be more of a shot window, sort of loan window sort of game as well. I do expect coming into MK Dons, Chelsea and Arsenal, the scum, I do think you will see more of Nuno's imprint in the team, more of what Nuno's trying to do, to be honest with you. But I think this game and the Colchester game will literally just be a shot window, loan window sort of team, to be honest with you. And just to quickly touch on Parrott, fellow countryman of mine. Look, for me, I do think if he is going to make it, he has to be moved out to the right. I don't think he's good enough to play up front. But not only that, it's what Shane was saying. You know, when it comes to Scarlett, you know, he's took it upon himself to bulk up, to put on extra weight, hit the gym. Now, two players are picked out there today, Parrott and Scarlett, right? Now, they're older than him. Do they have to, like, the thing is, we've got to a thing where if a football player doesn't do something, it's like, oh, but he's not being told to do it. That's on the club's fault. Now, unfortunately, the very top players foresee these things coming. They work on it, and that's why they're up the top, because, you know, they don't have to be told to do things. They're proactive about it. Now, Scarlett was proactive about it. He knows he needs to bulk up. He's obviously went and gone about doing it. Clark and Parrott. Now, why haven't they? They're too easy to take off the ball. They need to bulk up. And for me, look, loan moves that they've gone out on haven't really been successful. And for me, I think it is time to cut ties with them. You know, they shouldn't have to be told to bulk up. If they're getting knocked off the ball and they're not skinning players like they were, you know, coming into senior football, surely they would have clicked with them by now. It's just simple. Oh, well, I'm being knocked off the ball too much. I need to build my strength up. You shouldn't have to be told to do it.
No, and I totally agree. Those are the things where Jose would made that quite clear. He didn't obviously go too much over the top in terms of how Nuno's going to do with the training aspect. But there are some things you expect a professional footballer to do themselves. And one of the things is out-of-season work. As we've talked about, Jack Clark still looks the same. Quite slender. Looks like he can be pushed off the ball quite easy. Same with Divine as well. These players need to work on that. That's not something that, as you said, David, that you have to be told to do. Recognizing your game. If you want to become better, you recognize that in your game. You look at that, you see, right, that's happening to me too often. What do I need to do about it? Sid, before we finish then, what's your thoughts? What do you want to see next time? Anybody you want to see playing particularly?
Next game, I want Divine to start. I want Skip to start. I don't know where Skip was today, to be honest. I don't know where Ndombele was as well. All the players that haven't been to Euros or the Copa America or whatever should be in this squad and they should be starting. Interesting thing, at the end, I don't know if you guys listened to Ledley King. They were talking to Ledley King and they asked him about the formation, and he reckons that Nuno's going to go for a 4-3-3. And he reckons that's what he's going to play. So if that's coming from Ledley, so it'll be interesting now. So if that's the case, then next game, like I said, Divines, the Oliver Skip needs to come in. Winks needs to drop out, and he needs the only player that I want to really want to see, right, is Skip now, because he had such a phenomenal season at Norwich last season. Let's bring him in now, embed him now straight into the squad, because he's one of the futures, isn't he? And they said future captain or whatever, bring him in. Yeah, I agree. So we've got plenty of pre-season games before we get to like the bigger pre-season games, the Arsenals, the Chelseas. So we've got another game. Is it Wednesday? Is it MK Dons or is it MK Dons? Yeah, Wednesday. So MK Dons, we can have another little look at some of these players. Just a comment here from Snipes. It was a good decision to let some youth players play because they have the potential to do amazing. And I think that's what it is. There's a lot of youth players that were in and around the squad today. They all got an opportunity to play, so none of them were just sat there. Can't really talk much about the keepers. Alfie Whiteman couldn't do much about the goal, and Joe Hart did what Joe Hart does, just didn't do much. Anyway, gentlemen, David, where can we find you? Irish Hotspur, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, look, you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur. Look, I am trying to improve my content. Bear with me next 4 or 5 weeks. I'm really ramping up the quality of the content coming out. There's going to be a lot of different mixed sort of content coming out, so just stay tuned for that. And if you've enjoyed what I had here to say, make sure you do smash a like on the Irish Hotspur, but most importantly, Paxton Road. I always love coming on. I have great time for these guys. Anytime they ask me, I always do my best to get on because, I really do enjoy coming on this channel. Everybody that's involved, is brilliant. And, they really do their homework behind the scenes as well, to be able to put out quality content like this, and get the questions and the preparation done behind the scenes. So make sure you do smash or subscribe on Paxton Road. I love coming on here. It's always a riot. Always a riot. I love it.
It always is. And we love having you. Thank you very much for that additional plug for us. Sid, tell everybody, tell the viewers about Sid Spurs and when they can see that show.
Right, so Sid says every Monday and Friday. On the Monday, I'll be talking about transfers, gossips, and rumours. A lot of rumours at the moment. And then on Friday, I get a guest in. Hopefully, the Irish Hotspur. You can come on my show on Friday and we can discuss potential transfers into Spurs. So,
yeah, look, I'll tell you what, you need me. I'll make time 100%. But all depends what time it's at, because I do play football on Fridays, and I do like to channel my inner Gascoigne every once in a while.
We'll talk. It's not a problem.
You're still kicking up. I can't be doing with all that. That's too much for me these days now. Stick to the gym. Like, subscribe, share, comment. If you're new to watching the channel, please subscribe. Please hit that like button. Share all our content. And do tune in for a number of different shows that we've got. As Sid has said, we have got the transfer specials Mondays and Fridays. And obviously now we're back into the season. The previews and reaction shows. We're not really going to do previews for the pre-season friendlies because we don't know what's going to happen in them. So pretty much we'll just do the reaction shows until we get into the season. That first game of the season against Manchester City in August. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure as always. We shall see you on the next one. Take care.